Hello, everyone, and good evening. And I'm happy to be here with you tonight for our second live meeting with our Dublin City Council event. Tonight, I have with us Councilmember Sherry Hu. For most of this year, our City Council and staff have been working on a substantial change to the way our city government will run in the future, the transition to district-based elections. So tonight, our staff is here to provide you with an overview of this process and what it means for the way we will eventually have our elected future city council members. And with that, I'll hand it off to our communications manager, Sherry Jackman, for tonight's staff presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. For those who don't know me, I'm Sherry Jackman. I am the communications manager, and I was a member of the team who has helped and been working on the city's transition to district-based elections. Earlier this year, the City Council adopted a resolution declaring its intent to transition to district-based elections starting in 2024. This is a change from the way we've always elected city council members, where all voters in the city elect each of the 4 city council members. Under this new system, the city will be divided into 4 districts. Each of these districts will have about 18,000 residents and will be represented by 1 city council member who resides in that district and is chosen by the voters in that district. The mayor will continue to be elected at large every 2 years. To help with this process, the city hired a demographer to assist in the development and analysis of district maps.
We move to the next slide.
Yes, I am on that slide. It's not, can't see it. Let's see. Current slide. Oh, there we go. Federal, you got this
slide after this. Yeah,
the slide after this.
Yes, yes.
All right. So federal and state law provide the legal criteria the districts must meet. They must be roughly equal in population, be geographically contiguous, minimize the division of local neighborhoods or communities of interest. We'll discuss this more in a minute. Be easily identified and understood by residents, and geographically compact. Throughout this process, we work to engage the public on their thoughts regarding communities of interest or other local factors to consider when drafting maps. Specifically, we wanted to know what residents thought about natural dividing lines like major roads, creeks, highways, and what neighborhood amenities, landmarks, or common issues they could identify, and any other shared characteristics we should consider, like types of housing, languages spoken at home, etc. Feedback on these items helped our demographer to draft the maps. The city was very committed to ensuring a robust program of public engagement for this process. We sent postcards to each postal customer in the city. We held in-person and virtual community workshops where residents could come and learn about the process, as well as ways to draft maps. We also pushed out a lot of information on all of our social media channels and on our dedicated city webpage. Lastly, staff members were out at the farmers market for the months of May and June, talking with folks about this effort and handing out flyers with information on how to draw maps. As a result of the community outreach, we received a total of 15 public submissions in addition to 5 total demographer drawn maps. The City Council considered these maps at their June 21st and July 19th City Council meetings. It was at this last public hearing that the City Council focused on community drawn map 112 and requested some slight modifications. Map 112 and a variation of map 112, which is called map 112B, will be considered at the next and final public hearing, which will take place on August 6th. Here's a look at map 112.
Just to be clear, Sherry, August 16th, just to make sure people.
August 16th, yes. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Here's a look at map 112. And here is map 112B. This has some revisions from the demographer based on suggestions from the City Council. So our first district-based election will take place in 2024 for districts 1 and 3. Districts 2 and 4 will elect their city council members in 2026. The city will make changes to these district maps following each decennial census, which means we'll have another redistricting process in 2031. That concludes our staff presentation tonight, and now I'll hand it back over to Mayor Hernandez for our open forum part of tonight's program.
Thank you, Sherry. And I want to thank all of our staff for all their hard work with regards to the redistricting, and also, the residents that put their time in to be able to provide their feedback. So I also wanted to just make sure that Sherry Hu had a little time to introduce herself and say hello to the community this evening.
Thank you, Mayor Hernandez. And thanks, Sherry and our city manager and Sarah. Thanks for all of you to put this together. So I'm also honored to be part of this live council member forum today. And for many of you already know me, I was elected 2 years ago, and I'm very honored to get a chance to serve the community and be part of this process. And for the district mapping process, I have gone through many meetings and a lot of presentations. And from my point of view, I feel it's a very rigorous process we have gone through. And I also understand different people have a different point of views. And today we put this in this agenda. We hope we listen to you for the audience and to help you to understand where we are and why we think of the way we are proposing, and would like to have a discussion with all of you.
Thank you. And at this time, we will ask any members of the public to please come forward with regards to any questions that they may have with regards to redistricting. Linda, do we have any questions?
We don't have anybody at this point asking any open questions. We are monitoring the attendees to see if any of them have questions. Sierra can open it up to them. Has anybody raised their hand, Sierra? Nobody's raised their hand.
So as you know, we've done an extensive with regards to being able to contract a third party to be able to help us with this. We've been very transparent as a city, and I really feel that we've done a really good job. Just wanted to see if there were any questions from the members of the public. And I know that we have had members call in to our city council meetings as well.
We'll give everybody maybe another minute to pose any questions, and then we'll go ahead and conclude the event.
And as you know, as we've explained throughout all of our city council meetings, that the third party that we contracted out, we try to keep neighborhoods together. We try to keep, certain lines together. So I feel that, again, we have done a very transparent job. I, again, appreciate any members of the public that were able to give their input. And as I forgot her name, the lady that comes out and speaks to us on each one of these meetings, but she said that this was a lot of public input that we received from members of the public.
So Mayor, we did get a question from Janine Gilligerton about, the question is, will the city of Dublin try to expand the city limits to the east of our current city limits?
Yeah, with regards to our city limits are what we are right now. It just honestly would depend on the county.
So for Janine, the council adopted the Open Space Initiative of 2014, which set the city limit boundaries on both the east and the west side of the community. And so it would take a vote of the residents to change that. So that's just the way the ordinance is crafted and was adopted by the city council.
Yes, and I want to make the members of the public understand that we also have our road that we're trying to get through from Dublin to Livermore, as well as our economic zone out towards the east.
As a follow-up question from Janine is, can the city of Dublin change the city limits without voter approval? We cannot. There's not an ability to change without voter approval. Give everybody another 30 seconds. See if there's any other questions.
And I do want to thank Janine and Tom for always coming to our meetings, attending our meetings, and also being active members of our community with regards to calling in and actually coming in to our live meetings, because as you know, we've had a little bit low of attendance, but we hope that we get more folks joining in as the months go by. And Janine sounds like she has one more question.
Janine, your hand was up, so we added you to the room in case you wanted to ask your, was it related to your Q&A question or something else? And assume it was related to her other questions that she posed to us. She's currently muted.
Janine, did you have any other questions?
She's on mute. Janine, if you'd like to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
You can.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you so much. I wanted to, at our last live meeting, I had asked about 2 planning signs that I had seen on the north side of 580 between Dublin and Livermore. And I wanted to give you, at the time when I asked, there was not a real certainty about what those ones were. So I went out and I took pictures of the signs. There was a 3rd sign, but it appears to have fallen down, and it's on the property of to the east of Croak Road, but it's fallen down into the field and there's no way that I can get to it short of stopping on the freeway. But what I wanted to let you know was that it is a planning application that does not mention Dublin Boulevard. The first planning application is PLPA-2021-00017, and it is an application for a planned development rezone, vesting tentative map, and vesting tentative parcel map that was submitted on April 28th of 2021. And it's the Rigetti property for a application for a planned development rezone with a stage 2 development plan, vesting tentative map, and vesting tentative parcel map for a residential neighborhood containing 78 to 96 units, general commercial, and an industrial development with a maximum FAR of 0.4. And the second one that I could see the sign on is the Bronick property, which is PLPA 2021-00014. Again, a planned development rezone and vesting tentative parcel map with a submittal date of April 9th, 2021. For industrial park and medium density residential. And this is a stage 2 development plan and vesting tentative parcel map for a residential neighborhood containing 78 to 97 units and an industrial development with a maximum FAR of 0.4. So I wanted to give you an update on what those were. And it looks like, from what I can tell of the map, that there is, it's a mix of commercial, and then it looks like in both of them, let me see if this other one is, yes, they're both medium density residential.
So Janine, those are within the city limits of Dublin?
Right.
And those are developments that we have posted on our development page on our website.
Right. And it's like when we had our last conversation, people weren't aware of those planning applications that were currently filed. My question regarding this is that if you look at the resolution that was passed, the open space resolution of 2014 that was passed or accepted on June 3rd, 2014, it states in that there would be, I believe it says 1,000 feet from the north side of 580. And just to let you know that it appears that these would abut to, they would abut to 580. So there would be like these two parcels, and then it would stop at the border of, at the city limit to the open space. Okay. And I just wasn't sure, you know, well, I just wanted to be sure that you guys were all aware. I know there's a lot of stuff happening, and just to be sure that you were aware.
So the city staff is aware of the applications. We've been processing those applications. We're expecting other applications east of Fallon Road as we work towards the expansion of Dublin Boulevard extension. And so we've been meeting with property owners to keep them updated on the extension plans, because there's a lot of technical things that property owners will need to do in anticipation of the road
Right.
connected to Livermore. So that's why a lot of applications are coming in, so they can work on their technical components.
Okay. So now and maybe there's just one other thing you could help me understand. I was reading the 2014 resolution, and I apologize if I misunderstood which was the resolution that was enacted by the city council, and which one went to the ballot, because they were both ballot measures, as you know. And then,
well, the Open Spaces Initiative of 2014 never went to the ballot.
Correct, because it was adopted on June 3rd.
Correct. And
the criteria for that, will that have any ramifications at all for the property to the west, directly to the west of it? For example, the criteria about open space and the criteria about the preservation of the habitat for, for animals, and also the use of the properties. Because and this was, maybe you guys can clarify this for me, on the map that's shown in the resolution, it says that the open space appears to wrap around what says a union or a Pacific Union development for 2,000 homes. Is that something that exists in that resolution?
No.
Okay, so
the Pacific Union proposal was defeated by the voters.
Okay.
And I want to say either 14 or 2012. I can't remember. So that doesn't exist.
Okay, because in the map that was shown in Ballotopedia, there was a map that showed the 2014 resolution map. I guess there was a line to it, and it had that blocked out. And I just wanted to know if that was in that resolution or not in that resolution.
It is outside the city limits, so it's not subject to city adoption. The Open Space Initiative set our city limit line I don't know what Ballotpedia placed in that information, but
Well,
it's not-
the information was placed, it said, by the city attorney.
uh-huh.
But-
The measure was defeated to bring that land into the city of Dublin. That
Uh-huh.
I can't remember when that was, but that was defeated by the voters. So that did not occur and is not part of the city limits. And in fact, that land is being preserved currently as a mitigation bank.
Right. So the land then that is east of the Dublin
So
City.
that would be Alameda County, correct?
Correct.
So that would be under the proposition that would prohibit development.
Measure D.
Measure D, I believe it was. Okay, so at this point, so how does the resolution work then for us to, as a city, have a resolution that over land over which we don't have jurisdiction?
We don't have hand over that jurisdiction, so it'd actually be up to the Board of Supervisors.
Oh, the Alameda County Board of Supervisors?
Correct.
Okay,
And again, no development can occur on any properties in the county without the vote of the county residents.
so nothing could change for that property without the voters being the defining, it could not be rezoned unless the voters approved it.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And thank you so much for clarifying, because, oh boy, this is like very complicated. Very complicated. And so I
That
really
area is
appreciate this.
definitely, Janine, that area is definitely Alameda County. And I misspoke earlier when you had asked the question. And as you know, my day job is also Alameda County. So sometimes I just have Alameda County on the brain. But definitely, yeah, so it'd be up to the voters
Okay.
with regards to Measure D.
Okay. Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for clarifying that for me. And again, I appreciate this format.
Perfect. And do we happen to have any members of the public that have joined recently, Linda?
We did have another member of the public join the call, Susan Tang. She's an attendee in the meeting. We also have Rich Garrienti as an attendee in the meeting, and Richard Lee is still part of the meeting. Anybody have any questions for the City Council, to Councilmember Hu and Mayor Hernandez?
Okay, not seeing any other questions. Again, we thank all of our members of the public, our staff, for taking time out of their day, since I know you guys are off already, and as well as Councilmember Hu. We appreciate always your feedback, and we appreciate being able to bring this forward with regards to being able to have a more open conversation. And we look forward to seeing everyone at our next meeting.
Mayor, the next meeting will be held on Monday, November 7th. That's the next live with Dublin City Council.
The night before the election.
I was going to say a day before the election. So make sure you get your votes in early, folks. All right. Well, thank you again. And we look forward to seeing you in November. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.